everyone, and welcome. We have the founder, one of the founders of EMP Money with us today, AJ, all the way from South Florida in America. Hi, AJ. How are you?
Good, actually. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thanks. Before we get into this very exciting project and everything to do with EMP Money, especially the Detonator, just tell us a bit more about yourself, and maybe also how did you and the rest of the founders come up with the idea for EMP Money?
For sure, brother. So, I'm AJ Brockman. I'm fully doxxed, which is, again, a little bit of a rarity nowadays in the DeFi space. And so I have a lot of real-world businesses. I've been extremely successful in my life amongst a lot of adversity. I'm sure, as you can see, I am in a wheelchair. I have a neurological condition where basically all my muscles are just very weak. So I'm not a quadriplegic, but I can't really move. So, but I've never let that hold me back. And I've always been really involved in technology. As a kid, I was really into filmmaking, and I've been an artist all my life. I have a real world career as a professional artist. I did a portrait for President Obama, painting. So yeah, that was my claim to fame. And so with that, I built multiple successful real-world businesses, a brewery, an art gallery, and so a music venue, the whole nine yards. And I found crypto in about 2014, and I really didn't get as involved in it as I wanted to because I was running all my real-world businesses. But I saw the real potential in crypto early. And then in 2017, I went full-time crypto. And so I always wanted to have my own project, as a lot of us do, but it's a really huge commitment. And we didn't want to launch a meme token or, another, fly-by-night coin. We wanted to launch something with real utility that could become $1 billion project and really help everybody involved. So through all my contacts, again, I built a multi-million-dollar portfolio from 2017 till now. And earlier this year, we launched EMP Money, which is a tomb fork. And what that means is basically we're a seigniorage protocol. So through DeFi and smart contracts, we're able to build an actual ecosystem and an economy around EMP and ultimately Ethereum. So you have direct exposure to Ethereum through our protocol, but also providing very high and sustainable APRs.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to get into that. I know it's a little complicated on the surface, but yeah, I can definitely dive in.
No problem. And I think one of the things I like the most about the project, just when I got started, is the academy. Actually, it's so rare that so much time and effort was spent on educating, potential investors on, exactly what this is. Yet again, everyone, there will be a link in my description for the EMP Academy. I would highly, highly recommend watching that, going through it, making sure you'll understand most of everything what is going on in the ecosystem. But there's a very helpful Discord as well, where you can basically ask anything. Also a Telegram. But it takes I think it took me an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to complete it. And it was very, very helpful. It just gets you to a level of understanding that, is, okay, cool, I have the foundations. These are the exciting parts of the ecosystem I want to tackle. Which one should I go for? And it's really good. Yet again, highly recommend that to anyone.
Yes, brother. Thank you. That means a lot. We pride ourselves on our academy. Again, I think when people hear academy, they get scared. They don't want any homework. But yeah, as you said, you can finish it in about an hour to an hour and a half, and it really goes through all the basics. One of my co-founders, Crypto Mike, he is a crypto YouTuber, and he put that entire course together. We have about 6 people on the core team, and about another 30 or 40 of what we call our EMP Army generals. And they're in the Discord. Like you said, brother, we're always happy to help. And that was really a huge thing with our protocol, because it is so complicated. But even beyond that, I mean, we when I started this project, it really wasn't about the money. I know a lot of founders may say that, but their actions don't speak louder than their words do. And so with us, we wanted to put education first. So regardless of if you're going to actually invest into EMP, we want you to be a better DeFi user overall, because it helps all of us. I mean, even with the market crash over the last few weeks, things way down. Now is a perfect time to educate yourself, and really dive into all the mechanics at play, so that when we do enter another bull run, you can have financial freedom.
Yeah, exactly. This is something I've seen myself as well. It's always one of those things where in the bear market, when prices are low, it's one of the best times to enter, right? That's where the riches are created. It's not in the bull run. If you're in the bull run, you wanted to be there already, right?
Sure. Well, and we always preach to our community is that the projects that continue to build during the bear markets are going to be exponentially successful in bull markets. So yeah, we're always building EMP. We have about 10 different ways to earn within the protocol. We have a bunch of new things even in the works now. So again, I think it's important to invest in teams. Again, meaning us that are actually available and interacting with the community and continuing to build. And it's also important to invest in, projects that you're educated about. So yeah, absolutely, bro.
Awesome. But I actually have a question on that point. It's one of the harder questions. It's something that's going to be on everyone's mind, right? After the market crash, especially Luna and Tomb that have crashed a bit, how is EMP different, and how do you see EMP being more sustainable than those projects?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So we are an algorithmically pegged protocol. Now, there is a major, major difference between an algorithmically pegged protocol to a stable token and to a price appreciating asset. So Luna's problem was, again, they were trying to become a stable pair. And what happens is there is so much pressure on that stable pair that once the peg is broken, then you see a run on the bank, you see everybody panic, you see everything dump, and then they weren't able to recover. And Tomb, which is the fork of what we are, we've implemented so many more things. We say we're an entire dinner plate, not just a fork. Nice. So yeah, and to answer your question, I mean, Tomb had a lot of success because of Phantom being new layer 2. There was a lot of price appreciation on Phantom alone, and now we're seeing that really crashed. So therefore, Tomb was also affected because, again, being pegged to that asset, there was a ton of volatility. So on the surface, we mitigate that through being pegged to ETH, which, again, I know we're all bullish on ETH. It is the money of the internet. It's what Web 3.0 is built on. And so we don't see anything but up for ETH, especially if you have a long-term time horizon. And we educate our community to know that being pegged to an appreciating asset like ETH rather than a stable token, it's okay if we lose peg. Right now, we're a bit below peg as we speak, but the way the protocol is set up is you're still able to earn through our LP farms and a ton of other mechanisms in the protocol. There's a big misconception that being below peg is a bad thing, but really it just means that there's a better opportunity for all of you to enter that may not have gotten in, before. Because that's the other thing. Everybody says, well, am I too late to invest, And at EMP, it's never too late. So it's an actual economy that we've built, and it's very, very different from most crypto projects, because typically you buy an asset and you want somebody, to buy that asset from you at a higher price. Yeah. That's how you make money. Well, with EMP, you make money through our yield farm. So if the price doesn't go up, you can still earn and not have to be so, stressed out that your investment may, not appreciate to a 10 or 20x.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I found. Like it's almost like I think most of us believe that Ethereum is going to rise again. As you said, it's the money of Web3, right? All decentralized apps basically run on Ethereum, or most of them, right? Or side chains of it. But, you could either invest and buy a bunch of Ethereum and maybe just, let it lay there. Or, why not use a DeFi protocol like EMP money and invest in Ethereum and actually earn, something while it's sitting there while you're waiting for it to appreciate a lot. That's
that's an amazing point, brother. Real fast, I just want to bring up, because we've seen the debacle, with Celsius and Voyager and all these other third-party platforms that if you don't have your keys, it's not your crypto. So it's really important to take control and not have a custodian of your ETH or any of your assets. And then you are in control. So you don't have to worry about any of these third-party platforms going down. And the beauty about EMP is that everything is done through a smart contract. So even if the website were to go down, or all of the liquidity that you provide and within the platform is user-owned liquidity. So you're able to pull it out at your will, and not have to worry about a third-party entity telling you what you can and can't do. And to your point, I mean, there is less risk. I mean, all DeFi is risky, but there's less third-party risk of people, taking your coins and not allowing you access. And then on top of that, we are best-in-class returns. I mean, Coinbase, Celsius, Voyager, they were offering like 10% a year on your ETH. We're offering about 20%, a month. So it's really a substantial difference.
No, it's insane. And just while you brought up the topic of risk, I mean, yes, all DeFi crypto, especially, it is risky. I mean, if you expect to get massive returns, even if you were, buying stock, you're probably buying riskier stock if you're looking at massive returns. So A, that's just a fact. But B, on my own research as well, I looked at, the RUG doc and the Vanguard, what do you call it? The audit. Vanguard did an audit, or,
Right.
Yeah. I looked both of those. I mean, from what I understood, I'm not an expert, but specifically, I looked at is it possible to rug for founders, for example, at EMP to rug us. And I think when I looked through the code, it said that you can only start extracting or taking everything in like 1,598,000 days or something like that. I saw something.
For sure. So yeah, so we did. We've KYC and we've docs to OXGuard, and then like you said, RegDoc as well. And so the base code again, we have it emits there is no way to mint EMP, and so that's another amazing part of our protocol is through our boardroom mechanic. We can't even mint a more EMP even if we wanted to. It's just impossible. So and like you said, the lockup is like some insane number, like 500,000 years or something. So
it's ridiculous. And I really want to get more into the questions of, the future of EMP. Where do you see that going? But before we get there, I think the main part of this is I believe in the project. I also want to attract people. I want to give them the confidence and, the information they need to make educated decisions. And one of the tougher questions I actually tried explaining to my girlfriend, EMP and how it works. And she actually came. And one of the questions he had, because they obviously, people are very much more skeptical these days as well, right? And she looked at the kind of returns and she was like, and I explained to her in my own way of how it works, especially the detonator part now. And, because it seems like there is not a need, but a lot of the reward pools actually also based on people investing more, and that's incentivized, as I've explained in the video. But how do you respond to people who might ask you the tough question of, how is this different from an elaborate, pyramid scheme or Ponzi scheme?
For sure, brother. And that, again, we get it. I've been an investor in crypto, for the last 5 years, and so I know I've seen it all. I mean, people say one thing and do another, but the beautiful part about EMP is that everything is based on math. And so math, the numbers don't lie, regardless of what I would say or not say. If you look at math, you can determine for yourself. So what typically with a Ponzi scheme or Ponzi-nomics is what I like to say.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have to have the new money, coming in to pay the old money, and that is disguised as, a revenue stream. And so that is where the illegal activity happens, and where, again, a pyramid scheme, everything collapses. Well, with us, I mean, yes, in Detonator, there is a certain percentage of the rewards through tax entering the protocol that is distributed to all the previous investors. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously, for a project to continue to grow, there has to be new volume coming in. Now, what we do different is that we have focused on revenue streams. So a lot of DeFi projects, even some of the best DeFi projects, they are fully reliant on market growth to maintain. With us, we have been able to utilize our treasury as well as other advertising revenue. On Detonator, there's a banner ad at the top of our screen, and we get 3,000 people a day, all dedicated DeFi users that are clicking that page. So we're able to monetize that, and so through our treasury. Through rehypothecation, which is where we use our treasury to produce even more yield, which is an income stream, through our advertising partners. Through all these things, we're able to produce fresh capital coming in, and so that money is then used to support the Detonator LP pool, so that no matter, even if there isn't any new users coming in, which would be a worst-case scenario, we're still able to maintain because there's fresh capital always going into the pool. So that alone, gets rid of the Ponzi FUD. But no, I mean, we've done everything we can to make it work, and there is a very elaborate tax system in place with Detonator. Again, we always encourage more compounding than claiming. And all those mechanisms make Detonator one of the most sustainable ROI contracts ever developed. Yeah. And we've seen that. I mean, the pool balance broke $3 million today. Hey, so pretty amazing.
Nice. Yeah, I've been in it when it was about, and listen, I've been here for what? Just about getting to 2 weeks. And when I started, it was at just below 2.4 million or 2.5-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah, man, we've seen about $100,000 enter every day, and again, because Detonator transacts in LP tokens, half of that is actual Ethereum. Now we are in the Binance Smart Chain, so it's BEP20 Ethereum, but that's a 1-to-1 backup from Binance themselves, so it truly is ETH, just without the fees. And so and we've seen because we're again, transacting in LP tokens, you still have that exposure to the price appreciation of ETH itself. So, again, I mean, ETH is up about, 15% over the last 2 or 3 days. So, man, we've seen a little rally. And again, those that are in Detonator, they see that price appreciation as well. And again, I mean, as it keeps going up, it reduces your ROI time from a dollar value substantially.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few of the things I love the most about Detonator, as I've explained in the video, is one, people are incentivized to compound. I mean, not just from a tax point of view, but also from, creating unlimited revenue in terms of if you compound 5 times a week and claim 2 times a week, you basically claim less than you compound, so you'll never meet your 365% return, which is great.
Exactly, brother.
It's great.
And yeah, totally. And that was the goal. I mean, I make this comparison a lot. We do daily AMAs too. So if any of you have further questions, definitely join us. But I talk about it all the time in our AMAs. It's like, would you rather have $100 today or $10 for, $10 a week for the next, what we hope is at least 5-10 years, if not longer. So yeah, and that's where that mindset comes from. And we didn't even talk about the lottery. With compounding and fresh deposits too, you're able to get tickets. And right now, one ticket is about $5 in LP value, and so we give away 1% of our entire pool of the detonator pool every day. So that's about $30,000 that we're giving away every day. Twice, yes, brother. Yeah. So, and then the other 1% is to the largest depositor of the day. Yes. So, yeah, we have a fun. I'd say we're putting the fun back into crypto. If they're not watching your channel having fun, they're watching us at the rollover time, because within the last about 1 minute of the contract every day, it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. You see a lot of people competing for that largest prize. So it's kind of a game show in that respect. So brother, and it's amazing.
It's unfortunate, but your 8 p.m. is my 2 a.m. in the mornings. So
brother. I know, not too fair for our European friends.
Yeah, it's tough. So I have an alarm set up. I've basically, luckily, since I'm a creator, I can make my own time. I don't have a 9 to 5, so my whole time basically shifted. I work now to 2 a.m. in the mornings. I wake up at 9, just so I can do that.
Still do it. Well, that's dedication, brother, and I get it. I mean, we talk about that a lot. We know it might be unfair as we are a global product, but we have a lot of ideas that we're working on. Everybody says, how about an auto compounder? So it's a twist on the auto compounder, because we also don't want to make a full-on auto compounder, because it's part of our game theory that people have to at least compound or claim every day. And so it's a fine balance, but we came up with something really unique that we'll hopefully be launching in a few more weeks that I'm really excited about. So
are you allowed to talk about it yet, or is it still a little
a little bit of alpha. It's going to probably revolve around some sort of secondary NFT that you would buy, and then that will help us fund the pool, so that, again, those that aren't able to claim or compound still have that ability, but it won't drain the pool itself, because there's still some revenue coming in from the NFTs. So you have to have me back. I'll give a full alpha review on the net when we're ready.
Absolutely, we'd love it. And talking about the having to click, I think it's genius in a way, because it's also got me more invested. There's an excitement element to it. Sitting there waiting for the last seconds when to click, but also just it gets you back to the site every day. It makes you more part of the community. One of the last things you want, a lot of people might want that, is you invest and you leave it and it's gone, which is great. But because of the amount of opportunities in the ecosystem, this is not like investing money in the bank, right? Or giving your bank the money to invest in stock portfolios. You want to see the opportunities. You want to know what's going on. You want to know what's happening with your money. And just by having the fact that I have to click the compound today, it makes you much more involved. It gets you there. I really like it, actually.
Yes, brother. Well, and again, man, you understand, and that really makes me feel good when people internalize everything that you just said, rather than getting upset that they can't do it on their own time frame, because it really is. And being a crypto OG, I've realized that a lot of crypto is psychological, and so that plays in really well with everything that you just said. The fact that, we're always on people's minds. They have to get home to compound. I mean, what I said earlier about the ad revenue, driving daily traffic to that detonator page every single day. And we posted this about a month ago, but according to DAP Radar, we are the number 5 crypto project on all of Binance Smart Chain in terms of daily active users.
That's insane.
And so we're competing with like PancakeSwap and major DEXs because we get so much daily volume.
I mean, that's insane. And the community is actually relatively small still. I think the active users are 3,400 about. So
exactly,
that's it shows its return, right?
Yep.
It's really cool.
Totally. We have about 5,000 total users, and 3,000 of them, as of yesterday, 3,370, I think, of participants in Detonator.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how amazing Detonator has been, and that LP now, and that is the locked liquidity. So when you deposit into Detonator, those LPs are then locked, and you get a certain percentage every day. A lot of people misinterpret 1% a day because we're doing 365% ROI, but APR and ROI are different. But even though, I mean, it's anywhere from 0.6 to 0.8% a day. And again, I mean, we focus on sustainability, so even at those percentages, it's best in class. So those LPs end up being locked liquidity for the protocol, which protects all of us from any potential dumping. And the larger the liquidity in EMP, the better for everybody. And we, as of right now, we're about $12 million in liquidity. So we're really, really healthy, and one of the only Tomb Forks or seniors protocols that have lasted this market downturn.
Wow.
So
yeah. And one of the points you made, and I'm forgetting it now, which I had something on. The 1%. So I'm making that clear in my video as well. You know, it's not 1% per day. What actually made it even more confusing, the Academy videos at the time, they were getting about 1%
we're saying
a day.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yep, no doubt. Well, and this is Smart Alpha for you guys. We are in the final stages of releasing a brand new UI. It'll be a completely new front end for the website. And so when we do that, not only will be a huge wave of new coverage on all of our awesome YouTube friends like you, James Felton, a lot of big guys. And so with that, we're going to redo the Academy as well.
Awesome.
So we'll make sure to make it a little more clear. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, fantastic. And I think, thank you very much. We've spoken a lot about Detonator. One of the questions on my mind that I actually am not 100% sure of is, and this is about e-bonds and the boardroom and basically PEG, right? And I'm sure most of my viewers have explained it high levelly a bit. And, always make sure to visit the Academy to get more information. But my one question is, so the PEG, right? What real effect? I know once it's above PEG, people who have bonds are actually cashing out a bit, and bonds are used as a way to kind of burn EMP to try and raise the PEG a bit. That's the basics of it high levelly. But what is the actual effect? What does it mean for the ecosystem if we are below PEG or above PEG?
Yes, great. Another amazing question. So there is this overall misconception, too, that we try to combat, that the price of EMP and the price of Ethereum determine what the PEG is. And that's not necessarily the case. So what determines PEG is actually the buying and selling volume of EMP. So let me kind of back up and explain it a little better. So really what helps PEG is that there is more buying than selling. And as long as there's more buying of EMP than selling of EMP, then the PEG will go up. And then vice versa, if there's more selling than buying, the PEG goes down. So that's why we saw, us lose PEG with the market crash. A lot of investors had to pull out, even though EMP was very healthy, they had to use EMP to cover their other losses. So, but now that we've seen the market stabilize, we've seen a lot more volume enter, and we've been recovering PEG completely organically over the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And we're back now over 0.9 PEG, which is phenomenal. I mean, like I said, people think being below PEG is the worst case scenario, but really it's very healthy for the protocol. And most other Super-Forks are 0.2 PEG. So we're way, way up there. And so once we get over 1.01 PEG, then the boardroom starts printing. And so, again, the underlying mechanism of seniorage protocol is allowing people to earn through controlled inflation. And let me emphasize controlled, because usually with crypto projects, they can just print tokens out of thin air, or, they have a massive uncontrolled inflation that continues to snowball on itself as, if there's no user growth. So with us, being below PEG, the boardroom turns off, and all the EMP in the ecosystem is all that there ever is. Yeah. So right now we're in that phase, and so we're waiting for people to start accumulating again. And so once we're over PEG, then you're able to earn new EMP by having E-shares in the boardroom. And really, that is the overall economic system that we have in place, is that E-shares always have inherent value in the economy because they're the only way to earn more EMP. And because we reward our LP farm providers in E-share, it's a beautiful balance of always having value. Because typically, when other projects reward, a reward token, and the only way to sell or the only way to realize your gains is to sell that reward token, then it just goes down forever. And that's what we've seen in a lot of projects, unfortunately. But we do it much, much better. So, sorry, did that answer your question?
No, you did. Yeah. And I'm going to try and summarize it. This is the best way to see if I understand it, if I can give it back in some way, right?
Please. Yes.
So basically, from what I understand, PEG is an indication of whether EMP is being sold more than being bought or held on to. And
beautiful.
That's basically it. It's a very summarized way of saying it. And like you said, that's what I love about the ecosystem so far, is it's not just being incentivized to generate or try and get your hands on the token, wait for it to rise and sell it. You are either incentivized to hold on, either incentivized to buy, you sometimes even incentivized to sell, all to try and remain balanced, because that's basically what we want. We want a balance of the ecosystem. Otherwise, and I'm sure a lot of my viewers, especially coming from the play to earn space, we have seen, unfortunately, uncontrolled inflation of tokens completely demolish games, economies.
For sure.
So we are very aware of that.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. And I know you mentioned bonds. So bonds are a great mechanism to help us recover PEG, because what happens is you're able to buy bonds with EMP when we're below PEG. You're not once we're above PEG, bonds disappear from being able to be purchased. So they're only available when we're below PEG. And what it does is that because you have to use EMP to buy bonds, it incentivizes that buying pressure on EMP. And so right now at 0.9 PEG, which is about where we are at the time of this recording, that's basically a 10% discount on the pegged EMP or the full price of ETH. But with that being said, you buy bonds, you're able to lock up your tokens. Again, the only downside of bonds is that they're not very liquid, meaning you have to kind of buy and hold. But once we recover PEG, that's a 10% gain under EMP, and you get a bonus. So there's a chart in our documents, but essentially once we get above 1.01 PEG, and you redeem your bonds, not only do you get that price appreciation from where you bought them, but then you get additional EMP on top for holding those bonds. So it's a great way to help the protocol. And I say bonds are your badge of honor. So if you have some bonds, that means that you really want the protocol to succeed. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I should get some bonds then. We'll get there. I don't know how much time you have. I have 2 more questions. Do you have some time?
Dude, brother, sorry, we're going a little late. I have plenty of time. Okay, so yeah, if you have time, I have time.
Okay, fantastic. The second to last question is, to any newcomer, I've tried my best to explain in the video how I tackle the ecosystem, what I'm doing right now, but what would you say is the best investment strategy for someone coming to EMP?
Absolutely, yes. So we are very, very specific on this strategy because I think a lot of people come to EMP, they get overwhelmed or they want to ape in like all of us love to do. But when they do that, it might not be the ideal strategy. So again, not financial advice, but the most ideal strategy is being heavily rated in the EMP ETH LP. Mm-hmm. So what that means is that, if you had, say, $100 to invest, you would take $50. You would buy EMP with that. You'd take the other $50, and you would buy the Ethereum, BEP20 ETH on BSC, and then create an LP token. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know how to create an LP token, we have a function on our homepage that's called ZAP, Z-A-P, and it does it for you. Yeah. So we thought of everything. And that makes it a lot easier for, again, I even use that just to streamline the process.
It's easier.
So half of it is DMP, half of it is ETH, and then you put that in our farm to earn E-shares. And so E-shares is the way that you actually profit in our ecosystem. So the idea is that EMP itself is more of a utility token that allows you to earn more E-shares or more ETH. And so, again, the idea is not to just buy EMP and then eventually sell the EMP because that hurts PEG. And it also hurts you as the investor because you're not able to earn as much. Mm-hmm. So we always recommend at least an 80% allocation into the farms. Yeah. So again, if you had $100, you want at least 80 of that to zap into the EMP LP, and then with that other 20% is to either pick up some E-share off the market if the boardroom is printing. But if the boardroom is not printing, you may want to go and buy a node. We have a node system as well that's much different than other node protocols, but that will emit you more EMP. And again, it's non-inflationary. That's EMP that's already in the ecosystem, and then you're able to sell some of your E-share to pair up with that new EMP, and that's what we call the infinite money loop, because you're always able to gain more LP and continue to stack both EMP and ETH through LP, and make the ecosystem very healthy in the process. So again, a lot of people get they get confused when we say don't sell EMP to make profit. It's like, well, what's the point then? But once you understand how it works, is that you want to take profit in E-shares, and right now, E-shares are about $400. They were at like 3,000 at one point. So E-shares are very reduced, and we also don't recommend buying E-shares outright because the idea is you want to earn those E-shares through the farm. So does that help? I'm happy to elaborate, but I think
No, it helps a lot. And I think maybe at one point, this first one's going to be introduction video. I'll do a specific video on how to create this infinite money loop. I know one of my problems was, I looked at nodes and it was just too rich for my blood. I didn't have that capital. But, if you have, and I'm trying to build up capital via Detonator at the moment and see compound, get my LP sorted, know that I have a healthy amount that I can claim every day, then that's great. And then I start expanding into what I can actually do.
And that's another great strategy is to take some of those LPs that you're claiming from Detonator and then put those in the farm. So now you're able to earn on money that you've already earned.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's lovely. And so the final question for me then is, what is the future in your mind for EMP? So currently it's a DeFi protocol and DeFi project, and there's already a lot in the ecosystem, a lot more than many of the other DeFi projects I've seen. But in your mind, if we look at 5 to 10 years from now, how do you see the ecosystem? How do you see EMP being used? What is the dream, basically?
For sure, brother. Well, I mean, the beautiful part about EMP is that what's happening now is really, the vision and the future as well. And that doesn't mean to say that we're not going to continue to build, but when you have a beautiful ecosystem, sometimes the best thing to do is just to let it play out and run as intended. So, we're really happy with what we're seeing. We're already about a year ahead of schedule as far as growth. We've had some amazing partnerships and new contracts, and the community has just really run with what we're doing here. And we become, experts in the seniorage field, where even a lot of other protocols are now coming to us rather than us going to them, which is amazing. We have the number 22 largest Ethereum holding on all of Binance Smart Chain. That's about 5,000 ETH. That's backing up EMP, and that's a big deal. I mean, a lot of other protocols, they're lucky if they have $1 or $2 million in liquidity, and the fact that we have 10 times that amount shows the confidence in the protocol. So. And then all that being said, the end goal again is to continue to build our treasury. So that we not only can maintain PEG that much easier through buybacks and other incentives, but also to be able to give further use case to EMP, because not only do you want to have a revenue stream, which again we went over earlier, but you also have to have burn mechanics and use cases for EMP. So we have a lot in the works. Again, we've done a really large deep dive into esports with our partnership with you. Splinterlands has been really good to us, and so we have a lot of ideas as we move forward that will have some awesome use cases for EMP. So you're going to get to the point where you're going to want EMP, and that's going to be a hard thing to get, especially if we're not producing more EMP. So I've always said that the goal is that EMP is worth more holding onto it than actually selling it. And so we have a lot of unique ways that we're going to make it happen.
Awesome. And the esports one gets me most excited. I mean, you guys sponsor a bunch of stuff. You're involved in a lot of Splinterlands, and Zen Sportia is one of the it's like the esports company or esports company basically for Web3 games. And that's basically how I got to you guys in essence. Which is great.
Well, and Jacob, he's been an awesome friend of mine for a few years now, and we're really ramping up our esports division. I think that we're all way ahead of the game, pun intended, right? On esports, and we feel like that is not only an entirely new audience, but I really think that that's how we're going to get to mass adoption in crypto. I think it just makes sense. And once the AAA studios realize that, the floodgates are going to open. So we're really excited for all those future assets and contracts. I mean, again, we have so much. I wish I could tell you half the things we're working on, but there is a major use case for EMP on the way.
Fantastic. Oh, okay. I can't wait for it. I hope I can break the news on it as well.
That's
very exciting about the esports, and because especially if I can take a moment to make a point there as well to the audience, who, especially after what's mostly happened to play to earn, and we all know that in Web3 gaming, it's basically play and earn is the style, right? You the games that really focus on a token, and you earn the token, you try and sell it as fast as possible for the most amount of money. We've seen what happened to other games, and I think more and more what's going to happen to Web3 games, it's going to model what happens in Web2 games, if you want to call it that, or gaming as we know it today, with the difference of owning your assets. And yes, being able to sell them more frequently, being able to, earn from them as well, even though do not expect, $10,000 a month or something playing a game necessarily. But
Sure.
in this ecosystem, in Web3, if EMP, for example, is the used token for all interactions in esports, if you want to buy a ticket to watch the Axie Infinity tournament, or if you want to bet on a game between two Axie Infinity teams playing, or the CSGO of Web3, that's a very powerful proposition that has some legs. I love the fact that it's a DeFi protocol, but also that you guys are looking at other ecosystems in the Web3 space. That's something that really excites me.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. And again, I can give a little bit of alpha because those that are smart enough to understand our ecosystem probably already realize this. But another really major issue, and we talked about it earlier, is in-game economies. And the only way to reward tournaments or reward players is through a reward token that eventually, is sold to oblivion. Well, with EMP, we can actually offer a perpetual yield on tournaments. So think about LP tokens being their cost of entry.
Yeah.
Then we use those LPs to generate E-shares, and then those E-shares are then rewarded as the actual reward for the tournament. And at the very end, you get your LP tokens back. So, we have a lot. Again, that's just one example of a lot of the things that we're working on that we at EMP can offer that many other protocols cannot offer. So, we're all about software as a service and working with other larger brands to integrate EMP into their ecosystem. So.
Now that you mention it, yes, I actually come from it. This is exactly software as a service. Yeah. I haven't even actually, I'm only like connecting the dots right now. It's like, oh, of course, yeah, that's what you're building.
Amazing. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Well, AJ, thank you so much for taking the time, and coming on today. I hope we have many conversations in the future. And I have to get back to compounding soon.
I agree, brother. No, it's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate all your hard work with this. I think, again, EMP is best conceptualized when someone like yourself can actually explain it, and go through it all. And so it means the world to me that not only are you helping us do that, but that you're excited about it as well. Yeah. So, yeah, brother, I look forward to a long-term relationship with you. And anytime you want me back, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, AJ. Will do. And, thanks for watching, everyone. One last thing. Yes, so I have a referral code in the link below. Please support me by using your referral code if you're looking at investing. I mean, there's already amounts set out for referrals in the Detonator, as far as I understand. It's 3% or something. And if they don't use a referral code, absolutely. That goes to Treasury, right?
Correct. Yes, sir. So, again, I know a lot of people are turned off by referrals, but it's a great way to help support content creators, and we've done it in a very, very conservative way that it doesn't hurt the protocol, and so yes, please use Axie's referral, and if you don't use a referral link, that goes to the Treasury anyway, but definitely support all your favorite content creators.
Awesome, thanks. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.